Hello students, already we have started aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids. In the last session we have discussed up to naming of aldehydes and ketones. Now we will discuss methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. Methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. These methods are common for the preparation of aldehyde and ketones here. Okay. The first basic thing you have to remember is, suppose if I take 2 carbon alcohol, this is a CH3, CH2, this is OH. Always these alcohols upon oxidation they will give aldehydes. Oxidation, it is two types. One is addition of oxygen is oxidation, or removal of hydrogen is what? Oxidation. Just you have to remove these hydrogens here. You have to break the sigma bond between the oxygen and hydrogen and this carbon and hydrogen. This hydrogen which is connected to this carbon, this is called as oxidizable hydrogen. Oxidizable hydrogen it is. Okay. So if you remove this hydrogen and this hydrogen, here you are breaking one sigma bond and here also you are breaking what? Sigma bond. One sigma bond of carbon atom is broken and one sigma bond of oxygen is broken here. So you have to form a double bond between carbon and oxygen. So it becomes as CH3, C double bond O and H. This is your aldehyde. These aldehydes upon oxidation, again these aldehydes upon oxidation they will give what? They will give carboxylic acids. Just you have to introduce one oxygen between the carbon and hydrogen, so that you will get CH3, C double bond O, OH. Always you keep in mind. Again these carboxylic acids upon reduction, again they will give what? Aldehyde. Aldehyde upon reduction gives what? Alcohol here. So reduction is what? Addition of hydrogen, I will call it as. So this is reduction. Left to right is oxidation and right to left is what? Reduction. Always you keep in mind these alcohols upon oxidation they will give aldehyde. Aldehyde upon oxidation they will give what? Carboxylic acid. This is very basic thing you have to remember here. Okay. Suppose if you use a mild oxidizing agent, by using the mild oxidizing agent you can convert these alcohol into what? Aldehydes and ketones. If you use a strong oxidizing agent converts these alcohols directly into the carboxylic acids here. That is a two-step oxidation and this is one-step oxidation. This is a mild oxidizing agent and here you are using what? Strong oxidizing agents here. Now the first method of preparation of aldehydes and ketones is what? From the alcohols. First method, from alcohols. Primary and secondary alcohols. Primary and secondary alcohols. Are oxidized to aldehydes and ketones respectively by using mild oxidizing agents like PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate, PDC, pyridinium dichromate, and anhydrous CrO3, or you can use acidified K2Cr2O7. So all these are acting as mild oxidizing agents which converts alcohol into what? Aldehydes and ketones. Always you keep in mind, primary alcohols are converted into, they are oxidized to aldehydes, and secondary alcohols are oxidized to the ketones. We will see the examples now. So what are those mild oxidizing agents here? PCC, PDC or anhydrous CrO3. For example, if I take primary alcohol, this is RCH2OH, this is your primary alcohol. This primary alcohol on treating with, you can take PCC or PDC or CrO3, any one of the mild oxidizing agent, you have to write here. This is mild oxidizing agent, you have to write here. Okay, then what happens? These primary alcohols, they will undergo oxidation to form what? Aldehydes. Here this is a primary alcohol because this OH is attached to what? Primary carbon atom. So here if you break sigma bond of this carbon and this oxygen, you have to form a double bond between carbon and oxygen. So this becomes as R C double bond OH. This is your aldehyde. Okay, this hydrogen which is connected to the carbon, it is called as what? Oxidizable hydrogen. Already you know this one. Suppose if I write an example of oxidation of primary alcohol, if I take, this is a CH3, this will be CH2, and this is OH. This on treating with mild oxidizing agent like PDC, they will undergo oxidation. Just you have to break a sigma bond of this carbon as well as oxygen. These two hydrogens are removed. Again you have to form a double bond. What you will get here? This is a CH3, C double bond O, and this H is as it is have written here. So this is your ethanol, 2 carbon alcohol. This ethanol on treating with mild oxidizing agent, it will be converted into aldehyde, that is 2 carbon aldehyde is ethanol it is. Suppose if you take secondary alcohol, R, C, this is your H, this is OH, and this is another alkyl group. See, this OH is connected to the secondary carbon atom because this carbon is connected to the 2 other carbon atoms. Now what happens? Still this carbon atom is having one oxidizable hydrogen, so that these secondary alcohols can be oxidized to the ketones. On oxidation they will give what? Ketones. This on treating with a mild oxidizing agent like anhydrous CrO3 you can take here. Okay, so this is your ketone, that is the secondary alcohol it is. This secondary alcohol on oxidation gives what here? R, C double bond O, R. Okay, you will get a ketone here. Example for this one is, if I take propane 2-ol, this is CH3, this will be CH, OH, and this will be CH3. This is second carbon atom, OH is attached here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atom, propane 2-ol. This secondary alcohol on treating with mild oxidizing agent like PCC, again it will undergo what? Oxidation here. Just you have to remove these 2 hydrogen, form a double bond between carbon and oxygen here. You will get a ketone, C double bond O. This is a CH3. This is nothing but acetone. You will get acetone here. Okay, these are the examples of oxidation of alcohols to the aldehyde and ketone. Always you keep in mind, primary alcohol they will give aldehydes, and the secondary alcohols upon oxidation they will give what? Ketones. Now we will see what happens to the tertiary alcohols. So the oxidation of a tertiary alcohol, suppose if I take a tertiary alcohol, that is a CH3, this will be CH3, and this will be CH3, and this is your OH. Usually these tertiary alcohol do not undergo oxidation because they do not contain any oxidizable hydrogen. Oxidation of these tertiary alcohol involve what? A breaking of carbon-carbon bond, which requires more energy here. That's why these tertiary alcohol usually they do not undergo oxidation. If you want to do the oxidation of tertiary alcohol, you have to use the drastic condition like a strong oxidizing agent, and you have to use very high temperature. Under the drastic conditions of strong oxidizing agent and high temperature, they will undergo oxidation to give the carboxylic acids containing less number of carbon atoms here. So if you use strong oxidizing agent and very high temperature, they will undergo oxidation to give the carboxylic acids having less number of carbon atom here. So this one what you will do is, just first it will undergo dehydration, so that you have to remove this H2O. Here OH is removed and here H is removed, so that you have to form a double bond between these two. This is CH3, C double bond CH2 and this CH3 is as it is. This upon further oxidation, just the CH2 group is removed and you have to add oxygen. So what happens here? CH3, C double bond O, CH3. So this ketone, which on further oxidation, it gives 1 carbon acid and 2 carbon acid. This is nothing but CH3, C double bond O, OH plus HCO, OH here. That's why these tertiary alcohol, they will undergo oxidation only under the drastic conditions of strong oxidizing agent like acidified KMnO4, and you have to use what? A higher temperature. Then they will undergo oxidation which involves breaking of CC bond, and then they will give carboxylic acid containing less number of carbon atom as compared to this alcohol here. So normally tertiary alcohol do not undergo oxidation because they do not have oxidizable hydrogen. They undergo oxidation only under drastic conditions like strong oxidizing agent and at a high temperature to give carboxylic acids containing less number of carbon atoms. So always you keep in mind, whenever tertiary alcohols are there, they do not contain any oxidizable hydrogen. That's why they do not undergo oxidation. If you want to do the oxidation of tertiary alcohol, which involves the breaking of carbon-carbon bond, and it requires more amount of energy, so only under the drastic conditions, like you have to use very strong oxidizing agent, you have to use a very high temperature, then only there is a breaking of CC bond, and ultimately it will be converted into ketone. Ketone upon oxidation, again it gives what? 1 carbon acid and 2 carbon acid, like this it is. Okay, next point. So the second method for the preparation of aldehydes and ketones from alcohols is by catalytic dehydrogenation. Catalytic dehydrogenation of alcohols. Simply what you have to do is, in this method, whenever the primary and secondary alcohol vapors are passed over the heated copper at 573 Kelvin, they will undergo dehydrogenation, so that the primary alcohols are converted into aldehydes and secondary alcohols are converted into ketones here. Primary and secondary alcohols primary and secondary alcohol vapors on passing through heated copper at 573 Kelvin, they undergo dehydrogenation to form aldehydes and ketones respectively. Simply what you have to do is, whenever primary alcohol, for example, if I take this primary alcohol on passing through the heated copper, this is at 573 Kelvin, they will undergo hydrogenation. That is this is the primary alcohol, which upon dehydrogenation it will be converted into aldehyde, C double bond O H it is. So this is the primary alcohol which is converted into aldehyde. For example, if I take primary alcohol, that is CH3 CH2 OH, this on passing through heated copper at 573 Kelvin, it will be converted into aldehyde. This is CH3 CHO, this is your ethanol converted into ethanol. Okay, next one, suppose if you take secondary alcohols, or CH, OH and R, here OH is attached to the secondary carbon atom. So this is your secondary alcohol, this on passing through the heated copper at 573 Kelvin, again it undergo dehydrogenation because it is having oxidizable hydrogen to form ketone here, R C double bond O R. Just you have to form a double bond between carbon and oxygen, because you are breaking a sigma bond of oxygen and a sigma bond of carbon, so that whenever two sigma bonds are broken, a new 5 bond will be formed here. So you will get a ketone here. Example, suppose if I take this is a CH3, this will be your CH, OH, again this is your CH3. So this is what propane 2-ol. This propane 2-ol on passing through the heated copper at 573 Kelvin, again it undergo dehydrogenation. Just you are removing a hydrogen atom connected to the carbon, hydrogen atom connected to the oxygen, and then you are forming a double bond between carbon and oxygen here. So it will be converted into acetone, CH3 C double bond O CH3. This will be your acetone. So that secondary alcohols are converted into what? Ketones. Whenever primary and secondary alcohols are passed over a heated copper at 573 Kelvin, they will undergo what? Catalytic dehydrogenation. In presence of copper it is. So they will undergo dehydrogenation. This dehydrogenation is nothing but oxidation. Removal of hydrogen is nothing but oxidation here. So primary alcohol always they will give what? Aldehydes, and these secondary alcohols they will give what? Ketones here. That's it. Whenever tertiary alcohols are taken, we will see that one. Suppose if I take a tertiary alcohol, whenever tertiary alcohols are passed over heated copper, this is a tertiary alcohol. First you observe that this tertiary alcohol do not contain oxidizable hydrogen, that is first thing. And whenever these tertiary alcohol vapors are passed over heated copper at 573 Kelvin, they will not undergo dehydrogenation, they will undergo what? Dehydration. From here you have to remove one hydrogen here. From this carbon you have to take one hydrogen, from this carbon you remove OH here, so that they will undergo dehydration. Always you keep in mind, whenever you take tertiary alcohol, these tertiary alcohol they will undergo dehydration, not dehydrogenation. So whenever they undergo dehydration, they will give what? Alkenes here. There is a formation of double bond between this carbon and this carbon. So this is CH3 C double bond CH2, and this CH3 is as it is plus water molecule here. So always tertiary alcohols they will undergo dehydration, because here these tertiary alcohols are more reactive towards the elimination reaction. That's why they will undergo what? Elimination of water molecule to give the alkenes, because these tertiary alcohols are more reactive towards the elimination reaction due to the formation of tertiary carbocation. If you remove this OH, here tertiary carbocation is formed here. If you get a positive charge on this one, this will be tertiary carbocation. So due to formation of this tertiary carbocation, these tertiary alcohols, they are more reactive towards the elimination reaction, hence they readily loses water to give what? Alkenes here. This is very important point you have to remember. In the catalytic dehydrogenation, primary and secondary alcohols, they will be undergoing dehydrogenation to give aldehydes and ketones respectively, but these tertiary alcohols, they will undergo what? Dehydration to give the alkenes, because they are more reactive towards elimination, because here a tertiary carbocation is formed here, because tertiary alcohols are more reactive towards elimination reaction, due to formation of tertiary carbocation, hence it readily loses water to give alkene. Okay, we'll see the next method. So the next method for the preparation of this aldehydes and ketone is from hydrocarbons. From hydrocarbons, in that one first method is from ozonolysis of alkenes. Ozonolysis of alkenes. In this method, these alkenes are dissolved in organic solvent like CCl4 or CHCl3. They are dissolved in what? CCl4 or CHCl3. Then a stream of ozone is passed through this mixture to form an unstable ozonoid. This will be an unstable intermediate is formed here. This unstable ozonoid, this on reductive cleavage in presence of zinc dust and water, it gives aldehyde or it gives ketone, or sometimes it gives both aldehyde and ketone, the mixture of aldehyde and ketone. That depends on what? This depends on the nature of the alkene what we have taken here. So by the ozonolysis of alkene, alkenes are dissolved in CCl4 or CHCl3, then O3 is passed through it, to form an unstable ozonoid, which on reductive cleavage in presence of zinc dust and water gives aldehydes or ketones or mixture of aldehydes and ketones depending on the nature of alkene what you are taken here. Okay, this is what by the ozonolysis of alkenes. We will see the reaction now. And the importance of this reaction is it is used to detect the position of the double bond. It is used to detect position of double bond, position of the double bond. You will see that how it is used to detect the position of the double bond in the alkenes. The first simple example we will take here. Suppose if I take simplest alkene, that is ethene, I will take this ethene on treating with ozone in presence of CCl4 or CHCl3, it will form an unstable ozonide. Then it will form what? That is a 5-membered unstable ozonide. It will form a 5-membered ring like this. The 3 oxygen atoms are added like this. It is, you see here, just you have to break one bond, on 5 bond is broken and it will form a 5-membered ring like this, and this is called as unstable ozonide. It is unstable because here this carbon is having 5 bonds, you see here. Since the carbon is having 5 bond, this is unstable. This is your unstable ozonide. So then what happens? This unstable ozonide in presence of zinc dust and water, it undergo reductive cleavage. Just this hydrogen, it combines with this oxygen. Here to break this compound like this and write like this. This is HCHO, one compound, and this is what? This is HCHO, 2 moles of formaldehyde you will get here. So that these 2 hydrogen, they will combine with what? Oxygen. Always you keep in mind, any metal with water is what? Reducing agent, because here zinc plus water, it is nothing but zinc oxide plus H2. These 2 hydrogens, they will combine with this oxygen, so that this compound is broken like this. This is HCHO and this is 1 HCHO. So that you will get 2 moles of formaldehyde plus water molecule. In organic chemistry, we will not give importance for the byproducts. Simply we will write what? Main products only. So this alkene, this is ethene upon ozonolysis, it gives what? 2 moles of formaldehyde it is. So this is your ethene. Upon ozonolysis, it gives 2 moles of formaldehyde. Now you see here, this ozonolysis reaction, this ozonolysis reaction is used to detect the position of double bond, I said. You can write the 2 moles of formaldehyde like this. You have to write them like this, such that the carbonyl group must be facing each other like this, H and H, okay, and you connect these 2. Again what you will get here? CH2 double bond CH2. So if you write the 2 compounds such that they are facing, their carbonyl groups are facing each other, and if you remove the 2 oxygen atoms, then again you will get what? The same alkene. That's how it is used to detect the position of the double bond here, okay. Simply what you have done here, in short, if you want to write this reaction, this is CH2 and the CH2 ozone in presence of what? CCl4. Simply just you have broken this double bond, you add 1 oxygen this side, add 1 oxygen this side, you will get formaldehyde and formaldehyde. This is nothing but 2 moles of HCHO. This is for entrance point of view, you can do like this also, okay. Next point. So the next example is, if I take CH3, CH double bond CH2, if you take propene, this on treating with ozone in presence of CCl4, again you have to form a 5-membered ring across the double bond. Just you have to break one bond here and you have to form a 5-membered ring with 3 oxygens here. Simply this will be CH3 as it is, this become as CH2. Here you are adding 2 oxygen and another oxygen is added here. So this is your unstable ozonide. This is your unstable ozonide. This on treating with zinc dust in presence of water, it undergo what? Reductive cleavage, so that here this compound is broken like this 5-membered ring. This is one aldehyde CH3CHO, and this is what HCHO. 1 mole of acetaldehyde and 1 mole of formaldehyde is obtained here. So what you will get here? Your product will be CH3CHO plus HCHO you will get here. So this is your acetaldehyde and this is your formaldehyde. So it may give two different aldehydes based on the nature of the alkene here. If you take different type of alkene, you will get different type of aldehydes and ketones here. So like this, if you want to find out the position of double bond in this one, whatever the products of ozonolysis are obtained by this alkene, just you have to write them such that the carbonyl group must be facing each other. Suppose if I write like this, this is CH3 and this will be C double bond OH, this is your acetaldehyde, and you have to take this formaldehyde. These two must be written such that carbonyl group must be facing each other. If you remove these two oxygen and connect these two carbon atom with a double bond as it is, again you will get this is a CH3 single bond, this will be CH and a double bond CH2. Again you will get the same alkene here. This is how this ozonolysis is used to detect the position of double bond in the alkenes. Okay, next example. So the next example is, I will take CH3, this is a C double bond CH3, this on treating with ozone in presence of CCl4. Then what you have to do here? Just you have to form a 5-membered ring across the double bond. So this is as it is, CH3, this is a carbon, you write single bond, this will be CH3 as it is. You have to add 3 oxygen atom across the double bond like this, so that there is a formation of 5-membered ozonoid, which is unstable because here carbon is having 5 bonds. The maximum number of bonds that carbon can have is only 4 because its maximum covalence is 4 only. Since it is having 5 bonds, it is unstable here. So this will be your unstable ozonoid. So this on reductive cleavage in presence of zinc and water. Already you know that any metal with water is reducing agent because it will form a zinc oxide and 2 hydrogens are obtained here. These 2 hydrogens they will combine with this oxygen to form the water molecule. So this ozonoid is broken like this here. This you take it as 1 molecule and this is 1 molecule. You see here 1 mole of ketone is obtained and 1 mole of aldehyde is obtained. Already I told you, it may give aldehydes or ketones or the mixture of aldehyde and ketone depending on the nature of the alkene here. You will get different type of products here. So this is taken as what? CH3 C double bond O CH3. Okay, and this is what? CH3 CHO it is. So you will get 1 mole of ketone and 1 mole of aldehyde here. So what will be the product here? This is CH3 C double bond O CH3 plus what you will get? CH3 C double bond O H it is. So if you want to find out the position of double bond in this alkene, what you have to do is the products of ozonolysis of this alkene, these two must be written such that they must their carbonyl group must face each other. So if I take this ketone, I will write it like this, double bond oxygen and plus this will be C double bond O, one side H is there and another side CH3 is there. So now you remove what? These two oxygens. These carbon atoms are connected with double bond. Then what you will get here? CH3 C double bond C, this is your hydrogen and this will be methyl group. Again you will get the same alkene what you have taken here. Okay, so this is how you can use the this ozonolysis to detect the position of double bond in the alkenes. Next example, suppose if I take CH3, this is a carbon double bond. Again here also I will take CH3 and CH3. This is highly substituted alkene. Okay, both sides this doubly bonded carbon atom it is connected to alkyl group and alkyl group. This on treating with ozone. This on treating with ozone in presence of CCl4. What you have to do here? Just you have to form a 5-membered ring across the double bond. This is CH3, this is CH3, and this is C double bond C, single bond you have to write here, and this is your CH3 and CH3. This is a 5-membered ozonoid. Unstable ozonoid is formed here because this carbon is having 5 bonds. This on treating with zinc in presence of water, so this is broken in this manner. This is your ozonoid. What happens here? You will get, this is also ketone and this also ketone. This is CH3 C double bond O CH3, and this is CH3 C double bond O again CH3. You will get 2 moles of ketone here. 2 moles of CH3 C double bond O CH3 here. So if you want to find out the position of double bond in this alkene, what you have to do here? The products of ozonolysis are written such that their carbonyl group must face each other like this. This is your CH3 and this is your CH3. 2 moles of ketones are obtained. Just you have to remove these oxygen. Again you connect these two with a double bond and you will get this alkene here. See here, in case of theory, just you have to write the mechanism like this, and directly if you want it for competitive purpose, you can write it like this. Suppose CH3, CH3, C double bond, C, CH3 and CH3. What are the products of ozonolysis of this alkene? This on treating with ozone, CCl4 in presence of CCl4. Simple trick is there. Just you have to break this double bond. You add one oxygen this side, one oxygen this side. You will get the products of ozonolysis. This is one ketone and this is another ketone. What you have got here. Okay. This is about ozonolysis. How you prepare aldehydes and ketones by using the ozonolysis of alkanes. Next one.